Why does selling your house feel like you're in a toxic relationship? I'm so tired of packing up my kids and the dogs and leaving this house spotless just to have someone come in and it's like, do you like it? After every showing, I just like sit here and I'm like, all right, is that the one? Is this going to be it? I need to probably stop thinking that way because that's probably what is messing with my head.
The housing market is being swindled by greedy corporate investors, fractional ownership, short-term rentals, and financially biased manipulated data. But the biggest tragedy of all is that there are still people falling for the trap, which is the American dream of home ownership. Now, today, not only am I going to go over the most recent updated housing market data and share my 2 decades of experience in real estate, but we're also going to watch videos of Americans in both buyers and seller markets so that you guys can see the differences in both emotions and tactics. Now, the 2 most important things that I could teach you guys about the housing market is, number 1, use the math, not your emotions, from local sold homes to figure out if a home is being sold for under market value or is being sold for over market value. Because remember, you guys, the markets are hyper local. Number 2, learn how a mortgage amortization schedule works, because paying off your mortgage can be the difference in you retiring comfortably or, unfortunately, and this is very sad, living your last days on planet Earth trying to work your way out of being a slave to debt. Now, that decision is yours and your decision alone. So you got to choose carefully. You got to be patient. You got to do the math, and you got to protect your purchasing power. And having said that, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. You guys already know this housing market video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, we'll start this video off by looking at Redfin's most recent weekly housing market report titled Pending Home Sales Rise 2% as Mortgage Rates Sit at Lowest Level in 10 months. A few bullet points here. Lower housing costs are bringing some house hunters off the sidelines. No kidding. But many buyers are still waiting on the sidelines. For the last 500 years, there has been demand waiting on the sidelines to purchase a home. That's nothing new. There's always going to be people on the sidelines. On the selling side, new listings are up 1.9% year over year. Though that's a small uptick, it's the biggest increase in over 2 months. Sellers have been pulling back in response to slow home buying demand, but some on the fence sellers may be moving forward now that rates have come down a bit. And the reality is they barely come down at all. In fact, they're actually up. So again, it says rates have come down a bit, but when we look at the year over year information, and this is why I keep saying the data is being manipulated and being used to push a financially biased narrative, because the interest rates are up from a year ago, both on the daily average and the weekly average. You guys can see the daily average is 6.51, weekly average is 6.58. Now that's up from 6.49 last year, and daily up from 6.43%, which is also last year. Now, the very interesting thing is this, is even though interest rates are higher, they're saying it's lower, but even though they're higher year over year, mortgage purchase applications are up 25%. Important to understand, though, that's not a pending sale, and that's surely not a closed transaction. It's someone saying, hey, I'm interested in purchasing a house. Do I qualify? How much is the loan for? And how much is my payment? Now, Redfin home buying demand is down actually 3%. That's a little bit more accurate. But Google Homes for Sale, that search result is up somehow 15% year over year. Now, they're saying the 4-week rolling median sales price is $395,500. Now, that is down from the peak of this year, but it is up 2%. So this data makes it very easy to see how bifurcated the housing markets really are. When we look at median sales price and we look at increases and decreases, on the left side are the top metros of increases. Detroit somehow leading the way, up 12.4% year over year. That's a substantial increase. Pittsburgh up 9.6% year over year. Cleveland up 8.2% year over year. Virginia Beach 8.1, New Brunswick 6.6. And I'm pretty sure I can finally show you guys why that is. Why are those metro areas going up when a lot of other metro areas are going down? And that all has to do with affordability. I'm going to show you that here in a second. The biggest declining metro areas, and by the way, 20% or 10 of the top populous metro areas have year over year price decline. Other data firms say 50%. Now, Dallas is down 3.4% year over year. Cleveland Oakland down 2.7%, Orlando, Florida 2.9%, Portland, Oregon 0.9%, and Denver, Colorado actually down 0.9% year over year. You guys can see that pending sales are actually crashing in Houston, Seattle, Miami, Orlando, and Detroit. Not good for Detroit, especially because they're leading the way with home price appreciation, according to this data. Now, pending sales are still going up, and here's Cleveland. Cleveland is one of the most affordable metros in the nation, and that's why it's going up, at least in my opinion. Pittsburgh, pending sales up 12.1, Cleveland 9.4, Columbus, Ohio, also affordable, 8.9, Phoenix, very surprised to see that, 8.1, and Austin also up 5.6. Now, Austin and Phoenix may be on this list because they're some of the leading metro areas of home prices going down. And when prices, not interest rates, when prices go down, which interest rates should follow prices, that's the time when people are going to start purchasing more real estate, and not before then. New listings, incredibly important to look at. Pittsburgh leading the way at 14.5%. And this is not active. This is new listings coming to the market. Number 2 is Montgomery County, PA, up 10.9. Baltimore, 7.8. New Brunswick, 6.4. And Cleveland on that list at 6%. So I expect Cleveland's going to slow down, but when the entire nation is overpriced and overvalued for houses, people tend to flock to wherever the most affordable housing really is. And I say affordable, not the price bubble affordable. I'm saying affordable compared to median income, median household income. The declining new listings is in Orlando down 14%, Tampa 10, West Palm Beach 10.4, Fort Lauderdale 9.3, and Miami down 8.6. What do you guys notice out of all these metro areas right here? They're Florida. Every single one is in Florida. That's interesting. And that shows me that sellers are giving up because they are overwhelmed with inventory and price cuts right now. When we look at our first chart, median sales price, you guys can see it's kind of ticked up, but usually this is the time of year when home prices are going to continue to go down. Now, we got a lot of room to come down in prices before things are much more sustainable from an income standpoint. You see that with home buying housing payments, which are up, not down, up 5.2% year over year. It's never been this high for this period of time. Mortgage payments on average are $2,616. But I want you guys to remember, when you look at this red line, which is 2022 home buying housing payments, remember the average mortgage payment was under $1,700 in 2022, the beginning of 2022. Okay, so remember where we came from. Do not forget about that, because they're trying to normalize what has happened. Pending sales are in the absolute dumpster right now, but they are up 2% somehow year over year. And you see that little blue line right there that represents last year. We're actually the green line, so barely up. It's actually, it says 1.6% right here. So obviously Redfin rounded up because they want to, in my opinion, want to make the housing market look more favorable than what it actually is. Here's a great set of data right here, which is the total amount of listings. So we have 1.21 million, okay, which is 12.1% up year over year. So that is a substantial increase. And that's why you see some metro areas with significant price decline. We have an abundance of inventory, and that's not even counting new homes. We also have a huge amount of new homes in the market trying to be sold as well. So inventory is coming back, it's coming roaring back. And we also see that in supply. Now, supply takes into account both inventory and demand. And right now we're at 4.3 months of supply. We've never had a time during this period in August where we've had 4.3 months. I'm saying at least according to the last 4 years in the data that you're looking at here. Here's Redfin's home buying demand down 3% year over year. There's the green line. So this is a new record low for at least the last 4 years when it comes to demand for this time of year. So demand right now, again, is in the gutter. And we're going to listen to a video of a young woman that is in a seller's market on the East Coast. And then after that video, we're going to listen to another person that's in a buyer's market. And I want you guys to listen to both the differences in emotions, but also the differences in strategy. And I want you guys to comment below on what these people are doing right versus what they're doing wrong.
Currently house hunting in New Jersey. And if anybody has been, aware of the situation of buying a house basically anywhere on any of the coasts in America, it is a nightmare. So I have 3 children. We are going to be combining my home with my in-laws. They are older and their house no longer suits them. So we are looking for a very basic 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house with a basement. Okay. We have been looking since January. It is now August 24th. We have looked at no less than 100 homes. That is weekend after weekend of open houses, appointments. I've gone through 4 realtors. And we have put, please don't like that, kids at the park. We have gone through 3 houses, put 3 offers on 3 houses. Now we're talking $750,000 that we're offering these people. Sometimes we're going in 30 over asking. We got accepted and we were finally celebrating. I thought that this journey was over. That was on Friday. It is now Sunday. They got another offer while in attorney review and they took the other offer. So here I am like an idiot telling my family that we have finally done it, that we have finally found our home. We're looking at swing sets. We're looking at all this stuff. And we even met the homeowners. And they were kind and they loved our kids and they're giving them presents and stuff. And we had a signed contract. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, we need your highest and best by 10 a.m. We're like, what? Put in for another 10 grand. That's coffee. You can't have that. And some random person beat us out. Doesn't matter if you have a signed contract. Doesn't matter if you're in attorney review. You have to be so cold when you are buying a house. It is, it's something I'm not used to. So I'm just really pissed. And I just wanted to put this information out there so I can get it out of myself so I can continue looking for homes for my 3 children to grow up in.
Comment below and give that lady some advice. Now, what I heard was a few things. First of all, your children don't care whether or not you own a house or whether you're renting. Your children just want to be safe and they want to grow and they want to have fun. So it's not about the children. It's about you. The reason why that seller took another offer is because of price. That's why, you getting 4 realtors, it really doesn't matter because what matters is the price. And if that other person gave them a higher price than you did, then they're going to take that offer. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, just because someone signs a contract to place an offer does not mean that it's accepted. And you can't be accepted verbally. It has to be a signed contract. There are periods where both parties can back out. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? This is very important. Never count your eggs before they hatch. Until you have the keys in your hand and you're opening the door to walk into the home, it's not yours. Now let's listen to the video from the lady in the buyer's market.
Stupid for crying, but it's been over a week since our house has been back on the market, and we only have a few days left to get it under contract. This falls through, I'll be happy. We love our house. We love our yard. There's nothing wrong with it. We just wanted a bigger space for the kids. But if this falls through, I don't think I can keep looking for anything because the last 6 months have been so emotionally exhausting, and I'm grateful that we're even in the spot that we could even think about buying land and buying a bigger house or whatever. And I don't take that for granted at all, but it's a lot when you get excited about something and you literally plan what your future will look like there, and then it falls through, and then you get excited again and it falls through. This place we're supposed to be buying is so perfect. I think that's what really sucks. I'm trying really hard to trust God's plan, and I know that he's never failed us, but I really thought this was it. I don't know, maybe the next update will be better.
So she's been trying to sell her house for 6 months. Now, I don't know if you guys caught it, but she's already purchasing another home. So she purchased a home contingent upon her existing home selling. And so my first advice would be, don't do that, because you don't even know if you can sell the house. And if you go and you purchase another house and you put an earnest money deposit down and say that earnest money is $10,000, that $10,000 is at risk of being lost if you can't sell your home. And I'm also going to say this, and there may be a few people that don't like me, okay? I don't believe in selling real estate. There's not a lot of homes that we need to own individually. If we own 4 houses, just 4 houses, and by the way, I have 4 children. So if I own a house for each of my children, we get to normally retire a millionaire, which is 4 houses. So if it's me, again, I will try never, ever to sell the 1 house that I have right now. But I surely am not going to purchase a house contingent upon my other house being sold. That's way too much pressure and way too much risk. Let's go over the demand for mortgages right now, starting with the refinance index. Now you guys can see the blue little lines is the demand and the orange line on the top is interest rates. So let me go over the last 5 years. So this is a little bit easier to look at. Now, first of all, the refinancing demand is normally up here. So what's interesting though is you guys can see that demand is as high as it was going back to about April of this year of 2025. So there has been a tiny uptick in demand for refinances, and this is probably going to be the most sensitive data set with interest rates. If interest rates go down 1%, sadly, and I'll show you guys why in a minute here, there's going to be a flock of people going back to try to refinance into a lower rate. And that lower rate only may be a quarter or half a point. But what they do by doing that is they re-amortize their entire loan, and they end up paying potentially tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars more in interest, not less. As far as interest rates, at least going into Tuesday, because obviously it's a 3-day weekend, interest rates for conventional is about 6.5%. FHA is about 6.06%. Now, the biggest difference between conventional and FHA is mortgage insurance. Usually the only thing that conventional, which has a higher interest rate, the only benefit that conventional normally has is the mortgage insurance could potentially go away unless you keep refinancing, right? It could potentially go away as long as your loan to value is 80% or under. Whereas FHA, the mortgage insurance never goes away unless it's 10% down and you wait 11 years. So that's it. Other than that, FHA is better in almost every single way. It has lower mortgage insurance if you have credit under 700. It has a lower down payment. It's easier to get, and the interest rate is lower. So a lot of times, FHA is actually a cheaper mortgage to get than conventional. But no matter the loan that you get, you have to understand what's on your screen right now, which is a mortgage amortization schedule. It's like a retail sales credit card. If you're not paying attention to how much money you're really paying, you're going to get bamboozled every single time. And what I've done here is I've taken a loan amount of $360,000 over 30 years at today's interest rate on conventional of 6.5%. Now, it's important to understand, okay, because we're adults now. If we buy a house, what are we really paying for the cost? Not counting taxes and insurance, okay? Not counting those things, just principal and just interest. So we get a $360,000 house, but remember the way that it's amortized, we actually pay $819,000 for that house if we do not pay this mortgage off early. Because remember, mortgages are front loaded with interest. Now, I want to show you guys how important it is to make an extra payment. And what I'm going to do is show you guys what it would do if we made 2 extra payments a year. Bi-weekly payments is 1 extra payment a year. So if we do 2 extra payments a year, let me show you what you do to the loan. So that's $2,275 times 2, which would equal $4,550. So if we paid $4,550 extra per year on this loan amount at this interest rate, let me show you guys how much money you would really save. First of all, by doing that, you save almost 10 years on your mortgage, 1/3. You save almost 1/3, you guys, on your mortgage. This makes me excited. So you bring that loan down to a 20-year, 2-month loan, but you also save in interest. Okay, this is insane. You guys save in interest $173,125. That is a massive, massive saving. So in other words, unless you understand how an amortization schedule works, don't even think about purchasing. And these amortization schedules, like the one I just showed you guys, are free. So go online and start playing with it and figure out what you can and cannot do when it comes to a mortgage. Now we're going to listen to 2 back-to-back videos, one of a woman that is in a seller's market and another of a woman that's in a buyer's market. And just like the last videos, comment below and let me know what they're doing correctly and what they're doing wrong.
My boyfriend and I have lost out on 3 separate homes now, and I think we're about to fully crash out. So if you're about to start looking for your dream home, learn from our mistakes. Every single one taught us a lesson. For context, we are looking for our forever home. We've already bought a home. We like our home, but we can't really have a family in this home. This was our first home purchase, so it's done its job. We are looking to be in it for like at least the next 10 years and grow into it. And that has been exceedingly difficult in the area that we're looking. We had been casually looking at homes for quite a bit because we needed to hone in on exactly what we as a family were going to need. So for a couple months, we're just doing showings casually. And then his dream home hits the market. And I kept telling him, when the home hits the market, we need to be ready. We need to have our pre-approval docs ready. We need to have all of our ducks in a row. We need to figure out what we're going to be doing with our current house. Everything needs to be ready, because when our dream home comes up, it's everyone else's dream home and it's going to fly. That's exactly what happened. It went off the market in about 2 days. It was an estate sale. We didn't even have a chance. We learned that we need to start getting ready. Fast forward 1 month later, and another dream home hits the market. And to give you context, we're looking for land, and that's really hard to come by in the area that we're looking at. And so hits the market, and he had a work thing that evening. It was like a work trivia night or something. And so we couldn't go and see it the first evening. We go out and see it on a Friday, and it's already got an offer in hand that they've already got a counter out on, and there's nothing we can do. They just accepted an offer. Lesson learned on that one. The day the dream home hits the market, we are the very first showing in the door. I don't care what's scheduled. We're going on lunch breaks, what have you. We got to be the first to that door.
Do not, I repeat, do not go looking at houses just casually. This is the biggest financial transaction of your life. And if you're out there casually looking, you're going to get bamboozled. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you're the first person and you're excited to show up on the very first day that a home gets on the market, all you're doing, at least in my opinion, is you're showing the seller that you're desperate and that you could be bamboozled by them by any last minute shady little dealing. So if it's me, first of all, like I said, I'm fully prepared. Amortization schedule, my loan is qualified, I'm doing the math. So I'm not even walking into a house unless it's been on the market for a substantial time so I can grind the seller down, and the math works. I'm looking at houses that are below market, right? The market's changing, but right now are below market value by 30%. I could find stuff like that all day in my market, but also it has to cash flow, which is an issue in my market because of the overwhelming property taxes and homeowners insurance through the roof right now. Absolute tragedy. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. What advice can you give that last potential homeowner? Now let's listen to someone in a buyer's market.
Our house has been on the market for 27 days. We've had 2 showings, 1 open house. We just dropped the price another $15,000. We've dropped it a total of $45,000. And we're hoping that that will help.
Did you poop your pants again?
Did you guys hear that? Realtors told us that homes in our neighborhood sit for around 90 days. So we really don't want that to be the case. So we are the cheapest per square foot in our neighborhood. So really hoping that that will help. Also, we have a home sale contingency in the new city that we're moving to. And it is my absolute dream house ever. Like, it's perfect. And so I'm just really stressed that we will lose that if we don't sell this house soon enough. So hopefully something happens soon.
Another contingency sell. So you're dealing with a homeowner who has dropped the price in their house $45,000. The normal house sits in the market for 90 days. She's the cheapest listed in their neighborhood, and they still can't sell their house. So what advice would you give to someone like that? Personally, the thing that comes to the top of my head is learn to love your life where you're at. You don't need some upgraded house on the other end of the city to live a happy life. Just learn to love what you have now. And again, with the contingency, stop with the contingencies and start seeing if you guys can keep those assets for your children when they grow up. Because think about the kids right now. No person, young adult that's graduating high school or college can afford a home right now. Absolutely none. So if you really want to help your children, I don't know, maybe keep that house, keep it in the family for about 15 years. And if they graduate college without student loan debt, maybe they walk into that house. I don't know. Something to think about. Now, when it comes to why is the housing market so bifurcated, a lot of the things that I've been painting a picture of, the overwhelming amount of new construction pockets. Obviously, new construction pockets are going to impact resale inventory, and we see that across the nation. But we also see something else, another trend, and that trend perfectly overlaps with price appreciation and price decline. Let me show you what I found. This is an article from Zillow titled, "With Buyers Sidelines, Affordable Listings Climb to the Highest Level Since 2022. Housing markets across the country are becoming more buyer-friendly, but affordability hurdles continue to hold many would-be buyers back, as it has every single year, again, going back 500 years. But what I really want to show you guys is not the increase in affordable inventory. I want to show you this map, because this map perfectly, almost, I'm gonna let you guys decide, almost perfectly corresponds with price decline. Now, what you're looking at on your screen is share of listings that are affordable to the median income household. And I want to direct your attention to the East Coast. And you guys can see the East Coast, or at least this pockets of area, have the most amount of affordable listings in the nation. Did you guys know that? Cleveland, 50.1% of their listings are affordable housing. Okay, 52.8% in Detroit, affordable housing. So remember, Detroit was the leading metro area, but it's also one of the leading metro areas for affordable housing. Look at Florida. Florida has lower amounts, and Florida is being gutted right now, as is the west coast of California and Portland, Oregon. Look at that. Portland, Oregon was on that list of decline as well, and they have some of the lowest share of listings for affordable home prices. Now, I want you to look at this map and pay attention to the blue marks here, which are the metros with the largest amount of affordable inventory. Now, I'm going to put on a map that shows price decline. Look at this, guys. How insane is that? What you're looking at is year over year price decline, and look at how it almost matches identically to metros with affordable shares of inventory. Okay, so again, look at here's the West Coast. Look at negative price decline. That's what's in gray. Look at all that negative price decline. Texas, Florida, massive price decline. But when we go to the East Coast area, look at homes are still appreciating in these areas. Again, that matches these areas right here. Okay, again, look at here's the affordability map. Here's the price decline map. Look at this, guys. That matches almost identically. Now, having said that, choose wisely, because nobody cares about your investment like you care about your investment. And it's 2025 now, you guys. It's the end of August. We have no reason to be uneducated when it comes to purchasing a home. The more educated you are, the better off you're going to be. And remember, my entire platform, realestatemindset.org, my entire platform is based on free information that is designed to empower you. The only thing that you guys really need to do is make a decision to learn. And if you make that decision, we've created that mechanism for you to grow. So I hope you guys follow the links in the description. If you want to help us battle property taxes and abolish property taxes for good, join our Facebook group below. If you want any of the updated legal information about abolishing property taxes, go to Mitch's website, mockingbirdproperties.com/DCAT to get all of that information. And other than that, guys, if you're out there investing in real estate or yourselves, you guys already know I wish you luck, and I hope you win.